What's up, guys? Welcome to the Left Side of Liberty. It's Jordan here, and well, it's election day, so I thought it proper to make a video giving you my thoughts on this election cycle. And boy, has it been one entertaining ride, man. We've got uh, the Republicans are particularly entertaining. The Trump campaign trying to paint Biden as some sort of radical Marxist Antifa, kind of supporter. Yeah, the Antifa are real Biden supporters. That totally makes sense. Joe Biden totally in league with Antifa. Um, Joe Biden, well-known Marxist. That's a particularly interesting uh, campaign strategy, and it's working so well for Donald Trump. Have you seen his numbers? Um, and it's interesting too his strategy, Trump's strategy in trying to improve his standing with suburban women. I love this. His strategy is he's going to basically clean up the neighborhoods and protect them. Basically, that's a huge dog whistle, and he's going to prevent them uh, from urbanization. That's what he's going to prevent urbanization of the suburbs. So what that means basically is we're not going to let those rowdy black people into your suburbs. So that's his strategy to try to court support from suburban white women, and it ain't working too well. And it's glorious just to see Trump fail and flip flop, but flail. That's what I meant to say. Flail and fail, and just gloriously fall flat on his face whenever he mentions that. And I like his strategy also, by the way, of in and don't worry, Trump supporters, if you're watching this, we're going to get to Biden's fails in a second because boy, do I have a lot to say about Joe Biden and people on the left who are making excuses for Joe Biden. We're going to get to that in a second, but just let me finish going after Trump for a minute. So, with Trump, I like his strategy of simultaneously accusing Biden of being too soft on crime, but then going after Biden for writing, and rightfully so, going after Biden for writing the 1994 crime bill and bragging about it and locking black kids in cages and, causing a lot more black fathers to be absent from their kids' lives. It's like, yeah, Donald, that's true, but you can't then in the next breath argue, oh, and Joe enables the radical left and he's soft on crime. It's like you got to pick one. You can't just say, oh, Joe Biden soft on crime. He's in league with the radical left, and then in the next breath be like, oh, Joe Biden, he's so tough on crime. He wrote the 1994 crime bill. Pick one, Donald. For fuck's sake, man, pick one. It really, really bugs me that strategy. The dude cannot make up his mind. Pick one, Donald. So that is an interesting strategy that he has employed throughout this election cycle. The other one is bragging about how good his economy was, which first of all is complete bullshit anyway. And second of all, you can't just override the reality of the economy right now. Donald, the reality is the economy right now sucks. And that's your fault, pal. That's your fault. And it's your fault that your government has refused to, your White House has refused to take this pandemic seriously. And even Mark Meadows, your chief of staff, was like, yeah, we're not going to contain this virus. We're not going to control this pandemic. So he's basically just giving up. Mark Meadows is. He's basically admitting that, yeah, this White House is just giving up, It's funny because simultaneously, Trump is going out there saying, yeah, we're going to have vaccine very soon. We're going to have vaccines. We're going to have therapeutics. Basically, Trump is trying to bully pharmaceutical companies into producing vaccines as fast as possible because he thinks it'll help him win re-election. It's like, Don, that's not how developing vaccines works. You can't just bully your way into producing vaccines. There's protocol, there's studies that have to be done, there's tests, there's patents, there's a lot of things that need to be done before you can just before vaccines can hit shelves, So that's some of the stuff that's been going on with Trump. And with Biden, I am sick to death of people like Vaush, and Xander Hall, and people like that, like I've said before, of sanitizing the hell out of Joe Biden's record and making it seem like Biden is so much better than Donald Trump. Okay, granted, Joe Biden is better in 3 areas. Joe Biden will be better on climate change in terms of the Paris Climate Accord. He would get us back in there, which I think would be an okay step forward. I don't think it's as big as some people make it out to be, but it would be an okay step forward as far as action on climate change. So that's a good thing. Number 2, the Iran deal. I think that Joe Biden would get us back into the Iran deal rather than what the Trump administration is doing now, which is poking Iran with a stick. And number 3, I think Joe Biden would handle the coronavirus better, or at least would put people in charge that would know what they're doing and would actually care about containing this virus. So those are the 3 areas which I think Biden would be better. But in pretty much every other policy area, Biden is just as bad, and in some areas, if not worse. I mean, the body count, Joe Biden's body count is way worse than Donald Trump's. Way worse than Donald Trump could ever have the intelligence or the capacity to carry out. I mean, the trail of corpses that Donald Trump is responsible for is definitely long and notable. But Joe Biden's trail of corpses, holy shit, man. And for Vaush and people like that to just dismiss people that don't want to vote for Joe Biden as, oh, you're just being stupid, and oh, you're just a purist, and oh, you're just and you're being immoral. It's like those are all things I've heard people like Vaush say. It's like, no, we're being principled because we don't want to vote for somebody who has been accused of sexual assault. We don't want to vote for somebody that has a trail of corpses thousands of miles long. And you're going to get that with both Trump and Biden. You're not going to get that with Howie Hawkins. You're not going to get that with Joe Jorgensen, who I voted for. And the reason why I voted for Joe Jorgensen is because I'm part of the Libertarian Socialist Caucus of the Libertarian Party. And what our mission is in the caucus is we want to have more and more influence within the Libertarian Party, because the Libertarian Party right now is basically a fascist cult party. That's basically what the LP has become. And, it's full of ANCAPs, and there's the Mises Caucus, and just a bunch of lunatics in that party. So we're trying to get more and more influence so we can hopefully one day take over the party and get it back to actual libertarian principles, that is, left principles of, mutual aid and workers' control and decentralization, actual decentralization. Now, I did vote for Jo Jorgensen because I think she was the most, of the four candidates, I think she was the most decentralist candidate, but she was still, I admit, she was still kind of a sucky candidate, and she was kind of boring and insufferable in some ways, but so I wasn't enthused that much about voting for Jo Jorgensen, but I'll tell you what, it beats the hell out of voting for, again, either Joe Biden or Donald Trump, both of whom, again, they have a trail of corpses following them. They've both been accused of sexual assault. I don't want to vote for a bunch of pedophiles who are war criminals. I don't want to choose between the lesser of two pedophile war criminals. I want to choose for instance, somebody that's going to get us out of war, and somebody that, at least in theory, is in favor of decentralization. Jo Jorgensen is that candidate. So that's why I chose to vote for her, among other reasons, like ballot access. So in order for the LP to have a future, and by extension, the Libertarian Socialist Caucus to have a future, we need ballot access. And if Jo Jorgensen has a certain number of votes, she will get ballot access. She will make it so the LP will continue to have ballot access, especially in my state of New York, which screws third parties. And this is why third parties are so important. I know that there's a lot of people out there that think that third parties are frivolous and pointless and annoying and whatever. But I'm telling you, if more people know about third parties, we can overcome the institutional barriers that are in place, and maybe we can get more people from the Green Party and the Libertarian Party on debate stages, and we can overcome the institutional barriers that the duopoly of the Democrats and Republicans have set up. Because you know what? I am sick and tired of just having Democrats and Republicans. I don't know about you, but I have been in both parties. I am sick and tired of both parties, and I know a lot of people that feel the way I do, yet they don't have enough confidence that third parties can have enough influence in our system. So they're just like, you know what? I'm just going to, enable the duopoly to continue anyway. That's not good, man. That's not good. We have to be able to infiltrate that system. Now, overall, since I'm an anarchist, I don't believe that electoral politics is a long-term solution or a long-term way of bringing about a stateless society, since electoralism exists within a statist system. I don't think it's going to bring about a stateless society, and I don't think it's going to bring about socialism. But I'm talking in the short term here. I think it does some good to participate in the electoral process. So we're talking short term here. Long term, yes, stateless society, mutual aid, socialism, all that stuff I'm in favor of. But short term, I would definitely recommend going third party. Don't trust the Democrats because no matter, I don't care what the Republicans say, okay? The Democrats are a capitalist party. I don't give a shit what Republicans say, okay? They're just wrong. And the if they say, "Oh, Democrats are a socialist party," no, the Republicans that tell you that, they're either lying to you or they're just silly and misinformed. I'm sorry. That's just a fact. Notice I didn't say stupid. I said silly and I said misinformed. That's different than stupid. So, because again, I'm not. The problem that I think some people on the left have is I think some people get a little too heated and they tend to throw out words like stupid and idiotic and stuff. And that turns a lot of people off. And we have to shy away from using those words. And we have to be empathetic and we have to explain our positions in a calm, rational way. Even if we can't sway conservatives and fascists, even if we can't sway them, we have to try, and we have to do it in a way that's effective. And just calling people stupid is not going to do it. So we have to be more effective at getting our messages across. And again, we have to participate temporarily, short term, in the electoral process, while still keeping in mind that the long-term goal is still direct action, stateless society, mutual aid, socialism, workers' control. All that stuff is still on the table. But while we still have a state, I think it is still necessary to participate in the electoral process, as painful as it is, as annoying as it is. And also, don't, if you're an anarchist, don't vote shame people. Even if they vote for Trump, honestly, do not vote shame people. Because that's really bad. Especially, like I see this with my liberal friends a lot. Don't mean to pick on liberals, because liberals, I know your heart's in the right place, but please do not vote shame people, because again, that's just going to turn people off. So let's just calm down, and let's just try and get through this election like normal, civilized people, okay? And that goes for everybody. That goes for Trump supporters. That goes for Biden voters. That goes for Jorgensen supporters. That goes for Howie supporters. That goes for everybody, okay? Just calm down and let's try to get through this election without killing each other, okay? That's all I want. So just chill, all right? Because, our country is more divided now than pretty much ever. And I know that's a pretty liberal thing to say. I sound like a liberal right now, but it really is. And honestly, I just want people to get along and start loving each other again. And we've got to be able to figure out how to do that again. And we've got to figure out how to empathize with one another again. And I'm saying this again, even to people I disagree with, like Trump supporters and Biden supporters. I disagree with both of you, but I will still be friends and family with both of you. I'm just giving you my opinions on their records. I mean, like I said, Trump's economy is terrible. It serves corporations and not regular people. I don't care what he says. I care about what the facts are, and the facts are his economy is awful. His bragging about unemployment is terrible. It doesn't mean anything. What you really have to look at is wages and economic mobility, and economic mobility in this country is still awful. And wages, although they've gone up slightly under Trump, the wages still have not kept up with inflation, or productivity, and they still need to go way up. So Trump's not getting much credit from me on that. So you've got to be realistic about this stuff. He has not taken COVID very seriously. He said he was going to get us out of war, out of all these wars. He didn't get us out of all these wars. You got to be realistic about this stuff. So, and with Biden voters, again, be realistic. He's not some bastion of progressivism. He doesn't give a shit about progressivism. He's not some LGBTQ hero. He's not some anti-war guy. He's not some pro-labor guy. He doesn't give a shit about any of that. So be realistic, but also be kind to one another. Be supportive of one another. Be empathetic to one another, because there's a reason why some people, there's a reason why, behind why some people are voting for Trump, and there's a reason why some people are voting for Biden, and then there's a reason why people like me are voting third party, and there's a reason why some people aren't voting at all. So there's a reason behind everything. Nothing happens in a vacuum. So I just want people to have empathy for one another and realize why people are doing the things they're doing. So just whatever happens tonight, just take a deep breath, chill, and, honestly, frankly, this is for the Biden voters. I'll end with this. Look, Trump is bad, but Biden is essentially Trump without mean tweets. Let's just put it that way. So he's not that much better. Voting for the slightly lesser of two fascists is still enabling fascism. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. So, liberals, I know your heart's in the right place. I know you want to do the right thing, but voting for Joe Biden isn't really the right way to go about doing it. If you want to vote for Biden, I'm not going to stop you and I'm not going to shame you. All I'm saying is, if your intention is to do the right thing, Joe Biden is not the right way to go about doing it. That's all I'm saying. So be careful, be kind, be empathetic. And I will see you all on the other side. Until then, take care.